Can everybody hear me?
Hello.
Hello.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for coming today. My name is Sari, and this is Alan over here,
Hello.
and we will be your MCs for today. The two of us are part of the 2016 class of Google Squared here in Hong Kong, and we're really excited about today's program. Now, our topic today is about the new rules of the game for a digital world. And that's a really, really broad topic. We could probably talk about that for days on end. So we tried to narrow it down to talk specifically about how digital has impacted and will continue to impact entrepreneurship and branding. So for today's first session, we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship, and we have two very special guests with us here today. So the first one is Paula Yang, and Paula Yang is she's the general manager of New Digital Noise, NDN.
Nice to meet you all. Hello.
So NDN is a full-service digital agency, and NDN is also very involved in supporting startups here in Hong Kong. Paula is also known for bringing iButterfly to Hong Kong. And for those of you who may not be familiar with iButterfly, it's basically the predecessor to Pokemon Go. So our second guest today is Matthew Tam, and he's the founder of Around, which was previously known as MyFlat Hong Kong.
That's correct.
As well as Social Career.
Thank you.
For those of you who have not heard of Around before, it's a geo-based app connecting people to household services in their neighborhood. And Around was also the winner of the Google I program in 2014, where more than 100 teams participated in this. Social Career, as I've just found out from Matthew, is actually a spin-off of Around. So we're very excited to hear more about that. So I think there's been a lot of buzz around the world about the impact of digital on entrepreneurship. And so this morning, we did a quick survey of some people in the public to get their views on their favorite startups and what makes them so successful. So let's play a video. All right. I'm going to apologize to the people who are watching this online. You may not have heard the sound, but just to recap quickly, some of the favorite startups were Uber, Airbnb, GoGoVan. And what was really interesting to me was out of the survey, the common theme that came out was that the foundation of a great startup is actually having deep consumer insight. And to me, that's not anything specific to digital. So how do you both see the role of digital in entrepreneurship?
Actually, it's not talking about consumer insights. It's just talking about consumer experience, because you can see the race out is talking about Uber and also Google, when actually is you have a good experience, especially on a rainy day. If you like to take a test at Causeway Bay, actually you can't take anything. So if you got Uber, you got an alternative choice of getting another type of test to do so. So this is not talking about the consumer insight. It's just improving the consumer experience. So that's what gives the entrepreneur to have an exponential growth of their business instead of just coming up from a big corporation and then have a lot of investment. That they're not talking about it. Most of the entrepreneurship, they have a rarely to idea and then they launch in the market. And then what is in the jargon in our industry is forever beta. So this is we just launched the market, and then with forever beta, we are doing the live UAT. So and then so that you can see Uber, they have already, I think, 100 versions. I don't know. They have a lot of updates in the App Store. That is what we are saying is forever beta and live UAT is something like that. So it's just improving the consumer experience. And something is also a win-win situation like Airbnb is, because I got a house. So it's just instead of just making it being empty, so I can lend to other people. They come to my country for traveling. So in this part actually is another way of making a new generational experience. And I have a very funny experience there. Is I went to London for a training course, and then and there was a lot of classmates in our class, and they asking us, me and my boss, oh, where are you living? Oh, we are living in the Holiday Inn hotel. Another the entrepreneur there living in the Airbnb. And then suddenly, my boss and me feel that, oh, we are in the old generation. Why we are still in the Holiday Inn? No, next time we go to London, we must go to Airbnb. So this is because I heard from my young teammate told me that, oh, Airbnb is not only talking about the hotel. It's not for hotel, because when living in a house in France or in Britain, you can also experience the culture and the lifestyle the of that country. So it is also talking about the experience, not only talking about the money. I can say that sometimes is the hotel rental actually is not as expensive as the Airbnb. So it is making a lot of improving the customer experience, I can say. So it is a very good entrepreneurship, because if you can find some things that can improve the consumer life and the experience, then it will be a very good idea that you can go to try it and then go to forever beta and live UAT.
Can I just follow on really quickly? How do you think digital has improved that consumer experience?
Actually, maybe entrepreneurship right now, actually entrepreneurship is not equal to digital. I'm quite sure, yes, there's still a lot of entrepreneurship is simply open a cafe, and then you can sell your own products in your cafe. Just because of the digital one can help you to make the experience better. Just like Uber, actually you can just call them for the test or for everyone, but it just centralize everything of you. You got a map here, so it's not necessary to be digital. But because right now the penetration of the digital platform like the mobile or desktop is so convenient, so it is just a very hand-forward convenience media or a convenience handset tools for you to access the experience. But entrepreneurship is not necessary to be digital, just because digital can provide you exponential growth. So that is because for entrepreneurship, your next step is you are thinking of raise fund, and then you can thinking of investors. So if you have a very good proposal, digital can provide you a very rapid growth platform. So it's not necessary it's not equal digital, but digital is a very important part for improving the experience, and then you can attract a lot of users to your services or your products.
Thank you. Matthew?
Yeah, I actually agree with Paula. I mean, about entrepreneurship, it's not really about digital or anything non-digital, because at the end of the day, it's about creating a business that creates value to people. People are willing to pay for the service. At the end, that is what business is about. I offer something, I offer a product, I offer a service, but are people willing to pay for that service? If they're willing to pay for it, then yeah, I got a viable business. So the reason why we see a lot more digital businesses or startups coming up is because the entry barrier is much smaller, especially in Hong Kong. If you're talking about like you need to open shops where you need real estate inventory, there's a lot of costs. First in digital space, you can start coding and basically you start your internet business right there. And also when you think of like scaling, it's basically if you need to buy more real estate to expand your business or get more shops, that is a lot of money is involved. And whereas with digital, it's actually much easier for you to expand. But then that also comes why digital space is moving so fast is because the entry barrier is so low, there are automatically more competitors coming in.
So both of you mentioned different opportunities for people who want to have a startup, right? So you mentioned there's a lower barrier to entry, exponential growth. What are some of the challenges in this digital age that are facing entrepreneurs, and how can they kind of overcome that?
Because the startup point is low, so you will have a lot of competitors. So whenever you have an idea coming up, the idea can be exposed very fast, but also it can be declined very fast as well. So this is pros or cons. How to get the maintenance of your idea, and also should have a very good more long-term. Not saying that yet you can have trial and error, but you still have a long-term, at least 1 to 3 years planning for your products or for your experience or for your services. So because the entry level is low, that is talking about is a lot of competition coming up. And the competition is not only limited in Hong Kong, because digital platform, your competitors actually in Singapore or as well as in Canada as well. So it's not only locally competition, it's talking about globally competition.
I think echo to Paula's point is forever beta is very important. So whenever I launch the business, I need to check whether the try and error. So I learn from the experience and to modify. So it's ever changing for the platform. So it's not just a single business, and after 10 days or 30 days, it's the same business. So I think we need to see how the market responds to the business and to improve some kind of that.
Yeah, sure. Yes, like you can see, Uber actually they got a lot of enhancement on the app itself. So it says, but if you don't launch to the market, and no one will tell you the consumer insights, because it's not unlike the traditional media who do a lot of consumer research. I still believe consumer research is very important, but another type of consumer research actually is just launch to the market, and then you can see the response from the social media. Like you can have a social listening tools, and then you can get it from the social media how the consumer respond to your products and services. So this is another kind of consumer research.
Is there anything you'd like to add?
I guess like if you start a new business, there are basically two types of businesses. One is basically you go into something that's already existing, where you understand the customer, why they are willing to pay for a product or a service, and then you basically automatically compete with all those who are in the market, or you try to do something new, something that doesn't exist yet, and that's where you need to do all the always beta. You need to always try to see, oh, are customers actually willing to pay for the service? Are they happy with it? But then by doing that also means that you need a long runway for you to succeed. And usually startups don't have such a long runway. And that makes it actually very hard for startups, especially for those who try to do something totally new. Whereas on the other side, if you do an existing business, it's more about how do you increase the service quality, increase the quality of the product, or make a product cheaper. Those are usually the points where you might be succeeding, but then that's also very hard.
I'd actually like to open it up to either the floor, or if you're joining us online, you can feel free to key in your question into the chat box. Do we have any questions for Paula or Matthew? Anybody?
So thanks. One of the points that Siri mentioned at the beginning of your introduction was your formation of iButterfly, and how that launched, I think, in 2011. And now that we have Pokemon Go, there's been a huge upsurge in interest in Pokemon Go, and now everyone is talking about AR. So I guess in terms of trends, obviously that's something that you in 2011 knew was going to be a trend. How did you identify those digital trends when you formed that type of company?
Actually, iButterfly's launched in 2009 in Japan, but and they got a lot of advertising awards. I remember should be in the Cannes Awards, something like that. So, but because actually we think that but for the product wise, actually it's not quite successful in Japan. But we found that this is for Hong Kong, because we have a 7 million population. It's not that big, but it's not that small, because Macau is very small. It's not good for launching this product. That's why we come here. Actually, it's not talking about technology. In 2011, AR is not a new technology. New Digital Noise is doing first AR for Mercedes-Benz in 2009. So at 2011, it's not a new technology, but we add a lot of gamifications on it. So AR and gamifications and locational base actually is golden rules of making your apps being popularized. This is I'm so happy to see Pokemon Go, and because it is saying that the ideas of 5 years ago is still being popular in right now. It's because we can say that AR and gamifications and locational based. iButterfly and Pokemon Go they are the same. So a lot of marketers maybe also are asking. I have been asking a lot from our clients. So is there any new technology. But actually, it's not only technology itself. Actually, you have to understand your consumers, because everyone like gamifications. Everyone like to make every levels of the game. Everyone like limited editions. So this is why Pokemon Go is so popular right now. It's also locational based, really good. This is create a lot of talking points. And then right now, because 2016, the social media platform is even more mature than 5 years ago. So everyone is just, oh, I got this limited edition of Pokemon, and then I can share on Facebook, and then encourage my friends to go to take another one. So it makes the gamification more interesting. So maybe right now it's not only talking about AR gamification, locational based. The next one is also social media. So this is, you can add one more element. Not saying that 5 years ago social media is popular, but penetration is not as popular as today. So for the next one, maybe you thinking of the future of the marketing is you can see any past cases, and then you can add some new element which is available in this market. Instead of you just keep looking for any new technology, AR is definitely not a new technology at all.
I guess sometimes it's about timing as well. I think if you think about 5 years ago, imagine people walking with the smartphone in front of you walking around. That would be pretty awkward. Whereas these days, like the past 2-3 years, a lot of people are using the smartphone anyways, and now it feels like totally normal that 80% of the people on the street walking with the chasing Pokemons on the street.
Thank you.
So we got a very interesting questions about the future digital movement that the guest speaker, that maybe you can give some point of view. So this was a question raised by Monica on the YouTube chat. So would like to know more about what is the next big thing in digital. Could be innovation, technology, or any new trend that you expect in 10 years or 20 years.
Two next big things you can pay attention. The first one is user experience. It's talking about UX, because currently doing a website, no matter, it's just a corporate site. But right now, a lot of digital platform is not only a corporate site. It will be a sales channel or being e-commerce. So if you are talking about this is a shop for you, you have to looking and care about the consumer experience. Like if you decorate your physical shop, you think about how the decoration will do it. So it's just a physical shop moving into digital platform. So user experience is very important. And then the other one is big data, because the data technology can give you a lot of consumer insights that you can think of the next. So this is 2 points is very important. So you can see that because the exponential growth is usually come from good user experience, so you have to think about. And why I'm saying that, because this is also related to NDM business, UX and also big data are the part that is growing faster among the past years. It's grow a lot faster than social media. So I can see it's because our business also reflect the request from the marketers as well. So you can see it's talking about user experience and also the big data. Big data is not only about the social media, the like, comments, and shares. Also, how you link with the programmatical buy of the advertising as well, because actually the consumer journey is from how I aware about the products, and then how I search the product, how I engage with social media, and then how I go to purchase, why I purchase, why I don't purchase, and then where I go into share. So it's a mapping a consumer journey. So the third one will be, it's not happen popular in Hong Kong, but the third one would be marketing automation, which is we make a customer journey, and then we use the data to approach the client in various customer journeys. So this is the three. But I can say it's not a very high tech one, because big data actually is you have the data, and then you got the analysis and how you interpret your data. So back to the basic UX, big data, and also marketing automation is not to us. It's not a very high tech things. Just it's all related to the consumer, but you can see.
Okay, one more questions from the YouTuber.
So the question was asking, how do you compare the digital development in Hong Kong versus other Asia country, and in what aspect can Hong Kong catch up with other markets?
I think Hong Kong is very different from other Asian markets. If you talk about other big Asian markets, talking about China, India, Indonesia, and those are markets which are not as developed in Hong Kong. A lot of people might say Hong Kong is, how come in Hong Kong you don't have those disruptive like innovations or startups? It's sometimes pretty simple because people in China, Indonesia, or India, they go overseas, they go in the US to see a new product or service that does not exist in their markets. They do it, so they grow. It's very fast. It's a huge market. Whereas in Hong Kong, or in the offline world, you already have a lot of like things that's very working well. It's very convenient. I mean, e-commerce doesn't work very well in Hong Kong because it's so convenient to go down the street, go to the shopping mall, you get it the same day. Whereas yes, if you do it like ordering online, probably the best thing they can do is probably still delivering on the same day, but then what's the added value to it? Whereas in other markets, bigger cities where the market is just huge, they just sometimes cannot get the product in the city, so they need to order online. So I think that the main difference about like startups in Hong Kong that you see is everyone is trying to make it more convenient, make it the service quality better, but that's really a hard thing to do. And even if you're able to do it, because the market is only on Hong Kong, and Hong Kong compared to the other Asian markets is so small that might not be scalable. So I would say like one thing that I would probably look at is where Hong Kong is a small place, but then where the market is big. We're talking about like financial markets, logistics. Those are like things where Hong Kong is actually a hub, and you can do a lot of things to disrupt those markets. Yeah, it takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of like if you want to really disrupt the financial industry, you probably need to have like very specific insight. You need to probably have to be like working for a bank. But then, yeah, you need to have those people willing to give up those opportunities and challenge, try to do something new.
To your question. Earlier you mentioned how e-commerce is not very successful in Hong Kong because you can go down to the street and buy it. Though e-commerce is also much more successful in places like Singapore and Taiwan where it's equally convenient. So are there other factors that you can point to that, you know, demonstrate why Hong Kong is really lagging so far behind in terms of e-commerce?
Is it the business environment, the businessman's mindset, or consumer mindset, or even infrastructure?
I think Hong Kong is in particular that because I think Hong Kong is actually more convenient than Singapore in terms of like purchasing things, and obviously there's also some lack of or like the just if I look in Hong Kong is they're very fast in like adopting the latest products, latest like laptops, latest smartphones, but they're not necessarily the fastest mover in terms of trying a new app, a new feature. They usually wait for something that's already existing, working well, and then the trend goes, everyone does that.
Hong Kong is interesting. Hong Kong always picking up things. No, I can say Hong Kong always starting things very slow, no matter previously in online advertising, in search engine marketing, everything is starting very slow, but picking up very fast. So when you pick up very fast, you would think that they would change rapidly. Just when sometimes just like media is a very good example. 3 years ago, when I talked to my clients saying that okay, you invest money on online media, whatever the programmatic buy, they will think that oh, I still love my newspaper. But right now it's only a few years you can see that a lot of magazines and newspapers they're closing down just within 1 year. And then after 1 year, the client told me that, oh, Paula, yes, I would like to go for the programmatical buy, and then I won't go for any newspaper. That is, we start slow, but pick it up very fast because the population is very condensed, and also maybe we have a very shared the same culture. So that is just like iButterfly is more successful in Hong Kong than in Japan, because in Japan you in Hokkaido or in Tokyo, they are totally, actually they have different culture, but in Hong Kong we are no big difference from Tsim Sha Tsui and Causeway Bay. So next step is you have to think ahead because everything is just starting up slow but turning fast.
We got one more questions.
One more question from YouTube Live is from Michael. He was asking about cross-device behavior. So the first question is the statistic identification in a cross-device environment 100% accurate? Because his concern is it seems no one can get it right. So how to better track the cross-device behavior? Is there any advice from the guest speaker?
Yes, because a little bit sorry about these questions because we're not quite. Maybe I shall ask Hotmart and the other NDN community to come here because they are more in EdTech. So, but I'm quite sure some of the day and another day is you can match well of it. But at this moment, I don't think I'm a good person to answer these questions. But I'm quite sure if there is demand on it, you will have supply later on.
So I'm conscious of time, and we want to make sure that we also have time to talk about a brand experience. So just a final question for both of you. Today we've talked a lot about entrepreneurs of today. What advice do you have for the entrepreneur of tomorrow and how they can continue to succeed in such a fast-changing environment?
First one is you have to make the movement first. You have to try it, at least you take action. And the second one is, but not only just taking action, you have still have some planning on it. You have plan A, we will die, and then we will start another product. And then one is will be continuous. So what is the next step? I heard from my boss a lot of time is you are going to acquire by other company, you are going to be invested by investor, or you are going to invest on your own. So this is the next step what you are doing, because a lot of entrepreneurs actually they don't want to work under the big corporation, but if you were acquired by the company, you are going back to working under the big corporation. So I think the entrepreneur before working there is whether you like going back to the big corporation working under an investor and lost your, because you love being entrepreneurship, you like bring freedom of it, and then you leave the corporation and start your own business. So this is the future that entrepreneurship will think about it.
I guess something that's probably relevant to now as same as to future is as a startup, basically really understand your market, like get the market needs right, and that doesn't change. And by saying that is from my experience, like in the past few years, it's a lot of startups, they think like they found something that's relevant to the world or to the market, but then they haven't gone deep enough. By having deep enough is basically not only asking your friends or families where they like the product, or going the next step is like asking people in the street, but then it's really going to the level where you ask businesses, you ask people, would you buy the product? And so you're really selling a vision, or you're selling something. If people or businesses are willing to sign a contract with you without you having the product, then you got something, and then you should go ahead. Until then, a lot of things is always like nice, yes, this is nice ideas, all great, but then a lot of people at the end wouldn't buy the product.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I'm sure both of our speakers will be around for a little bit longer afterwards if you'd like to ask them more questions. But let's join me in thanking the speakers for today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you, Matthew, and thank you, Paula, for the sharing. Today, I actually learned something. So core value is very important for the product, and you need to think about the product experience, also the user experience. And before going to the market, you need to know the market. So be prepared for the entrepreneurship. And also, I think very importantly is use the big data and also other things to make sure that your business is going to the right way. So try and error, just forever beta. So may we now invite our next speakers, Mary and Mark, to the stage to talk about the brand engagement by digital. Welcome, Mark and Mary. So before we get started, let me introduce a little bit about our speakers. So Mary Chang, she's the marketing manager of Coca-Cola, and she actually started her career in Ogilvy as an account servicing. But after that, she met the clients of Coca-Cola, and she moved to Coca-Cola for years. Trust me, you cannot tell from her appearance and look. She actually is a very experienced marketer. I would say experienced. So I'm sure that every one of you may know about the campaign that she actually launched is Share a Coke campaign. So which is like a printed name, our printed name on the Coca-Cola cans. So this is launched by Mary, and now we have a very strong brand here, and on the other hand, we have a very strong agency as well. So Mark Chen is co-founder and also managing director of CMRS. So CMRS is a social media agency and also a digital consultancy firm. So Mark Chen has a diversified background, which is traditional media like TVB and also digital industry like CMRS for years. So definitely he is a digital expert and also award winners of numerous awards. So please join us to welcome to the two on-road speakers today.
Thank you.
So like last section, we actually asked about the people on the streets and in the Google office, how they see brand engagement. And I think maybe what they are seeing the brand engagement may be different versus brand seeing brand engagement. So let's take a look of how they're seeing. So apology for the guys who are watching YouTube with us. So actually to summarize, people are looking for two things. One is emotionally bonding with the brand, and another one is the functional benefit like gimmick, like promotions. So for Mark and for Mary, I would really love to hear from you this. Can you share us only one successful business case using digital to drive brand engagement? And echo to the questions that raised by the public. So do you think that emotionally bonding or functional benefit is more important?
Maybe I talk about the case that you just mentioned on Shea Coke. Actually, I couldn't say that this is the most successful campaign, but it's one of the successful campaign that all the way we learned in Coca-Cola. Actually, from the digital side, long time ago, we launched a website providing consumer rewards for loyalty. And then also we launched an app, which is similar to Paula mentioned. We launched an Chalk app that interact with the TVC. I think that one is one of its kind, which is very innovative at that time. And then what we learned from these two experiences, actually content is very important. Even though you have a launch app and then you are able to get subscribers within a short period of time, and you need to have content to provide them, to nurture them to stay with your platform. So when we think about the Share a Coke campaign, actually we think about from the social at heart. What is the point that a consumer is willing to share? Think about personalization, and then we start from the brand power of Coke and also the personalization that consumers are looking for. And then we have the name printed on the can. And also one of the interesting sharing is in Hong Kong, people's names, no matter English name or a Chinese name, are extremely diversified. Unlike other countries, yes. And then in terms of printing limitation, we couldn't afford to print a lot of versions. And then that's why we think about some nicknames. Even though you couldn't find your names to be associated, you can still associate with some nicknames that which is popular from online world. However, when we think about the name, we have to balance in terms of the positive image as well as the popularity, because you know, Hong Kong people, when they talk about some digital names, always is something that teasing, yeah. So I think at the end of the day, as a brand, you need to provide some content that is value added to your consumers. at the same time, which is brand related to your brand message. And finally, how to make the conversion between the product so you can drive the sales, drive the business growing. I think that's the key. So I don't think there is a difference between whether functional benefits or emotional benefit that matters. At the end of the day, it's the value that you provide to your consumers.
Thank you. I actually have the Ellen can on
Yeah.
my desk, so I really love it. So Mark, so what do you think?
One of the cases I would like to share is Harbour City. Harbour City's been our client since 2009, and we've done many different campaigns and ongoing and ad hoc basis thing. And the key is to integrate, because this is very different from Coca-Cola or other FMCGs, because it's not actually a product. It's actually a place. Some place that that you will, I mean, as a marketer, they want you to pay the visit, but at the same time, they don't want you to see so many things, because they want you to come to the place instead of seeing everything online. So it's actually a very dynamic since 2009 when we start working with them. And the recent campaign that we just running is actually the Smurfs campaign. And we integrate the experience of the on-site together with the content on various social media platforms, as well as the technology, because we launched an AR app as well. It's actually the second time that Harbour City deployed AR through the app format. So it's altogether the experience between different platforms, the messages that you delivered, and campaign messages, the offers, promotions, everything, and also the on-site experience. And we also arranged lots of events and also classes or workshops, so that different target groups will have different experience with the shopping mall. So when they come to the mall, they're not actually shopping alone, but they're also enjoying the ambience and also the environment of the whole place. So it's very different from FMCG or product-related marketing. So, and we also have very strong digital PR. So in terms of digital marketing on shopping mall like this, we're talking about an integration of everything. On top of course, they have their traditional media touchpoints, traditional media pitch, minimum advertising or everything.
So I think it's more about experience, so the
Yes.
overall experience for the consumers. So to the speakers, I have actually some questions. For example, for Hong Kong nowadays, people talk about key opinion leaders, KOLs. So for example, 100 Most. And do you think that Hong Kong, this kind of influencing marketing is sort of going into a bottleneck? And what do you think about the next level of influencing marketing?
Okay, I'll go first. It's actually a very interesting question. So we're talking about key opinion leader. So most of the people do not really have a knowledge about how to rate a KOL. Okay, a KOL may not be a person, but it's actually starting from a person most of the time, and now it's moving into an entity or a Facebook page or a Twitter account. A Twitter account could be a person or something that is run at the back by a bunch of people. So actually, I mean, the concept of KOL is very, very interesting, and ultimately, to me, is actually a channel, because it's evolved from a single person that could, I mean, he could influence the decision making of anyone, and then now into like running a media. So it's not talking about only on the number of likes or number of shares or number of fans, okay? Because I personally knew a lot of KOLs. They have thousands of fans, I mean, in Hong Kong or in China or in other countries. And I understand very well that for example, a KOL with more than 100,000 fans, and a few posts on their social media would create a big impact on influence. That's very logical, right? But ultimately, I can tell you, some of these KOLs do not have any influence on any sales. After a few posts, okay, ultimately, only a few sales transactions made. So what's the value of a KOL? So what you mean by the bottleneck is, well, how do we see the KOL? Because everyone could be a KOL, okay, to a certain extent, because I don't have a lot of fans. I only have 5,000, but most of my fans or most of my followers on my social media, they are so eager to be influenced. For example, I can just ask them to buy shoes, and then the shoes could be out of stock in, say, half an hour. So I only have 5,000 fans. So the number doesn't count, but so then what counts? And this is very interesting. So the bottleneck of Hong Kong is not only about the number of fans, because the population size is 7.3. That's million. I mean, so it's about how to cultivate the fan base, how to cultivate the audience of a media. So that's the bottleneck.
I think the case as a brand is a little bit, in terms of role, is a little bit simpler. When we engage KOL, we think about the driving the awareness in a very short period of time. However, I think there is some limitations in terms of Facebook or IG, their platform. They got some algorithm that limit the organic reach of these KOL. So at the end of the day, I think as a brand marketer, we need to think out of the box on top of KOL, what you should employ to gain the short-term awareness in a very short period of time. And at the same time, you are able to create the anticipation that you want to think about.
My second question is, because for the millennials, they actually, their consumption, the media consumption behavior changed. They are now looking for being listened. They want two-way communication instead of just TVC previous time, we just broadcast TVC. So to brands or to agency, do you think this is a challenge or this is actually an opportunity?
I think it's a very good opportunity for us to learn more and learn quicker and learn more direct from our consumers. Actually, as a brand of like Coca-Cola, we have a lot of social listening and then social publishing going on, so that to keep talking to them. But as we move on, I think we need to do more on the social conversation part, so that we are really engaging with them, sharing something that really add value to them. Yeah.
I think it's a paradigm shift in marketing, because we don't have such a, turnkey or instant response comment from our customers before. Because when you're using traditional media like print or on TV, you don't have the first-hand information unless you do the survey or even focus group. But that will be another half a year, to have all the information ready and to work on the plan for the next year. So now we have such a good way that people are ready to be, on the digital world, and then so many social media platforms or digital platforms already on hand. So it is all about how to make use of these interactions. So because things are changing so fast, this is good because you have the timing, you have the chance to make modification or, on the plan, okay? So you have to be ready for change, and then it should be good for you. But if you're overlooking all the comments, all the expectations, if you're falling short of the expectation of your customers, that they just you're leaving you in a month, then you know what happened. But in the previous days, you don't. You just all of a sudden all my customers gone, but don't know why, and then that's it. And now you have actually a chance to really do something, to work on something, and then make a change.
So it's time to make a change. So the time is now for the Q&A time for the floor, and also for the yeah, and also for the YouTube for the audience who are watching us on YouTube. So you can actually leave the message on the text box next to the video. So is there any questions from the floor? Maybe our guest speaker can ask too. Okay, there's a question there.
Hello. I was told by lots of agency that, you know, if you want to get like lots of engagement on social media, for example, you got to do video now. You have to do video, you know, in order to get like people attention, things. So how do you see the power of like using video on social media or like digital platform?
Video, it's a good format that you can tell a story, and that's why most of the marketers or the brand are having so many TV campaigns. Okay, so to tell a story, it could lift you into an emotional state that it can't be, I mean, delivered through a static image or just a few lines of copies. So that's one point. And the second point is the algorithm of social media, all platforms, and then the platforms are trying to push the videos against, I mean, they prefer to push video content instead of static images or just words, just text. So it affects the reach and also ultimately the engagement or all sort of post status about the influence. So video would be the next big thing, definitely, because at the consumer side, the audience side, that they are more getting used to video. Video always exciting. Videos could be, you know, engaging, could be anything that's emotionally touching. A static image would be difficult to deliver such a result.
From my point of view, I may, because for a brand, I think very much depends on our objective very often. Sometimes if your story is pretty simple, just like the Shea Cook, I think the static image still works. But the thing about video, because consumers nowadays, they are looking for different kinds of video by themselves. So it gives a even bigger challenge to a brand, because if you are not adding value or from entertaining purpose or from information purpose, it's even more challenging to give them video content.
So one point to add is sorry, one more question.
Echo your answer. I totally agree with you. Like as a brand, like if like lots of video like popping out, different brands like, you know, injecting video on their Facebook and things. As a reader, like okay, for message it's gonna be so easy. I can just, you know, quickly highlight the message. But for video, you got to go through the whole video in order to get the message. So yeah, so you know, for me, I'm kind of balanced. Like, what should I go? Like maybe mix. So yeah, thank you very much. By the way, thank you.
To make a remark, a video can be as short as 2 seconds. So it's the concept about video. It's moving, audio, visual. That's the key of, I mean, the law of attraction. So
I'm happy that our speaker will stay around later on, but I think you can ask more questions after that. So we got questions from the YouTube.
Yes, our YouTube audience are getting more excited about this. And one question that is quite challenging, the influence of digital has definitely changed how we look at marketing. So even in digital, there are more touch points than ever. So the consumer journey are not very linear or just very direct as before. So the first question from the YouTube audience is, what do you think is the most important interaction when you are talking about conversion? First touch or last touch? Which part is the most important? and others, the follow-up question from him is, how important is it to tailor-make your message for each interaction? So basically, first one is how important is the interaction for conversion? The second question is how to best tailor-make the message for each interaction.
I think he's one of the marketers. So
I think he could be a professor of something. It's, I think, it could be a very academic question. To me, I think he's asking actually two set of questions. Interaction doesn't mean getting conversion, first of all. So I've run many campaigns that's very straightforward. For example, most of people think we need to create a story on social media because nobody would like to see promotional message. We got to have a story. So we have to blah, 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 blah. Sometimes it's not actually. It's just very straightforward. A story is necessary to build the image of a brand, to interact with the customers, to interact with the audience. But sometimes as direct as the sales promotion messages works fine as well. And in terms of conversion, it could be better even with direct messages. Selling stuff is not lethal to me. Okay. And as a brand, we have a brand channel. And lots of fans like the page. They opt to follow the brand. So if the brand's telling you about something that they're doing as a business, nothing bad about it. So don't be shy from it. Okay, so it works well without any interaction. I mean, in terms of conversion. So for the first question, I forgot the second question already.
The second question is how important is it to tailor-make the message for each interaction?
Honestly speaking, I don't have the answer. I think as a brand marketer, we need to have more trial and error, so to understand different dynamics, I could say. Yeah.
I think we can have one more short questions.
Yes, another YouTube audience was asking, do you think marketers should go 100% in digital? Because the digital platform has more learning and consumer insight than traditional marketing. So want to get the point of view from the guest speaker.
From my point of view, I would say why not, as long as it has proven results. But I think nowadays, from the marketing side or from the FMCG side, we still don't have the linkage between the online viewers as well as from the online purchase. So I think we need to build more experience or more trial, so that to understand if this is a proven channel, if we are investing 100% on the digital side.
Yes, that's correct. I think it depends on the industry, depends on the target customers, the available audience, as well as the ROI. Actually, the efficiency of deploying digital over traditional. So it all depends. It's a matrix of all these factors.
Thank you very much, Mark and Mary, for the answers, and I'm sure everyone have learned a lot from them. So maybe give a round of applause to them.
Thank you very much.
So in the business world, to improve, we definitely need to move and look forward. So how about what is the digital? What is the future of digital? We actually have a similar exercise. We actually ask around the public. So let's see how they feel about the future of digital. In a word. So, for the speakers, the question is to you. So, can you use one word to describe the future of digital, and why is that?
I would say it's a basic necessity to them, because when I play with my kid, one day if I turn off the Wi-Fi to them, it's a huge punishment to them. So I think to them it's a basic necessity, as simply as that. Yep.
Diverse, because once you know so many data, behavioral, especially behavioral data, then you understand that the customers are very diverse, and then the size of your target segment may not necessarily be a very big number. It could be very profitable as long as you can locate them.
Thanks, Mark and Mary. So actually, for future of digital is a diversified necessity. So actually, our sharing is coming to an end. So really appreciate the other speakers here. So on behalf of the Google Square 2060 team, so we would like to say thank you for Paula, Matthew, Mark, and Mary to be our honorable speaker today.
Thank you.
And also thanks to the person or to the audience watching us from YouTube. So thanks for watching. And last but not the least, thank you Google for the support and also for the venue. So stay tuned to the Google Square social network and see you next year. Goodbye and good night. Thank you.
Let's share a call.